This is FBG.Live. From touchdowns and concerts to weddings and Christmas parades. Live video production right here in Fredericksburg, Texas. Live, local, here for you. FBG.Live, capturing your moment for generations to enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to start with an invocation this morning. We have Colleen Haley. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Would you please pray with me? Merciful and gracious Lord, we thank you for another day. We thank you for giving us this beautiful place to live. But most especially, Lord, we thank you for your presence with us. We thank you for the gift of your Son. And we pray, Lord, that those who are elected to lead us and guide us will be strengthened by you and will always know that there's nothing that they have to do by themselves. We thank you for this community, and we thank you for the ways you bless us, Lord, and ask that you would help us never ever to take any of those blessings for granted, but to know that all the blessings that come into our lives are put there by you. So help us to be faithful. Help us to walk with our heads up and our eyes on you, and give us strength for whatever comes our way, that we might know that we are not alone. And we ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to call the meeting to order. It's 9:04 a.m. on, actually just turned 9:05 a.m. on June the 23rd, 2026. This is a regular meeting of the Gillespie County Commissioners Court. All members of the Commissioners Court are present this morning. We're going to move to item number 4 to start with. That's receive and discuss a report on the status of the response operations related to the presence of the New World screwworm in the county. And then we will also consider adopting an order to extend or continue the local state of declaration. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, public and other folks here. I am Ashley Morris. I'm the Gillespie County Emergency Management Coordinator, and I'm giving an update on New World screwworm in Gillespie County, similar to what we did 2 weeks ago. So as of this morning, there are 15 Texas cases. The USDA actually just confirmed another additional case last night that the state will work on confirming today. So it's kind of a half confirmation, but we're sitting at 15. In Gillespie County, we have 1 case still. Our case was a goat found in western Gillespie County, and it was announced by the USDA June 8th and confirmed by the Texas Animal Health Commission on June 9th. After confirmation, the Texas Animal Health Commission issued the Infest Protection Zone, number 3, on the same date. And so when you go on the website, you pull it up, it's that yellow zone surrounded by that blue zone. In that yellow infest zone, animals cannot move without an inspection and a permit that is provided by the Texas Animal Health Commission. Outside of that yellow zone, in the blue zone, animals can move freely with no inspection. That's just a zone where people are to keep an eye on animals and do additional layers of surveillance. I do want to remind everybody that this is a federal and state response. So this is being led by the USDA, the Texas Animal Health Commission, Texas Parks and Wildlife, and support with AgriLife. The county is offering our support through resources when asked. Could be law enforcement, could be anything else when requested. And we're also assisting in providing information to the public. So some of y'all might be a part of our screwworm distribution list, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. We've been conducting various city and county briefings on the current state of the impact in the county, what residents are being asked to do, and then also keeping tabs on potential economic challenges associated with this. The TAHC also, to assist with the checkpoint process, has rolled out 3 to 5 checkpoints around the area where folks with livestock are encouraged to pull over and go through the checkpoint, provide your certificate that you got via inspection, and make sure that you're all good before leaving the area there. Last week, we had the Texas Animal, or the TAMU vet team from A&M attend and come and assist us for over a week with inspections. We had a team of over 15 vets from College Station help, and they visited Gillespie County areas, but also Kimball County and all different impacted areas around here with inspections. Today, I kind of just want to remind y'all of how we are navigating this through different hotlines and things like that. I know my office gets a lot of calls on who to ask, where can I go, how can I get permits. So if you have any general inquiries, you're going to call the Texas Animal Health Commission General Inquiry Line at 737-900-7455. If you are in that yellow zone in Harper or on the west side of the county, you're going to request an inspection and a permit before moving your animal, and you're going to call 737-292-9983. And then if you see something on your animal, you know, a suspicious lesion, you might see maggots, you might see larvae, you are encouraged to report that immediately, 24/7 on this line, 1-800-550-8242. Once you report that, the Texas Animal Health Commission will send out an inspector to you. They'll take a look at the animal, collect the samples, send it off to the lab, and they'll give you instructions on treatment of that animal as well. Texas Animal Health Commission is also taking care of exotics. So we know that we have a lot of exotic animals around the county, and so you're going to call that same 1-800-24/7 line if you have an exotic animal that also has some kind of suspicious wound on it. Lastly, if you see wildlife, so deer, raccoons, anything that's wild, you're going to call Parks and Wildlife at 512-389-4505. And they're going to send out someone to come take a look at that. All of these agencies are currently working together, doing monitoring, doing fly traps, doing fly drops, also assisting with some of the movement impacts that we have. Already mentioned in terms of emergency management that we've been supporting a little bit with alerting and things like that, but our goal is to continue to work closely with the state and federal government to collect information on their response and get it to y'all. So if you guys have questions, if you have concerns, if there's something that's not really sure of what's going on, especially on the western side of the county, you're welcome to call me at any time on my 24/7 cell phone at 830-998-7252. We're also, like I said, conducting briefings, ensuring all of our elected officials are aware of the impacts, and we're coordinating with law enforcement, public safety, and our other agencies at the city and county level in the event that we're asked to support state and federal operations with this. One last reminder before I open up for questions. Everybody in the yellow zone and the blue zone are encouraged to be checking your animals daily. So taking a look at your animals, looking for wounds, looking for larvae, anything like that. You're also encouraged to try to reduce injury. So taking a look at your fencing, patching things up, making sure that some of your livestock aren't being put in situations where they're getting injured more. If you find a wound or a wound occurs, you want to treat it, cover it, take care of it, and keep an eye on it because the screwworm will target where that wound is to lay its eggs. And then lastly, we really encourage you to reach out to AgriLife, which Brad is here, as well as your vet and other animal experts. They've been doing a fantastic job of collecting best practices and different things that y'all can do to keep your animals safe. So with that, I will open up for any questions from Judge or commissioners or anyone else.
Is there a time limit on the executive order, or you can just keep renewing it over and over?
Is that for Ashley or for me?
For you?
Which executive order are you talking about?
Or,
There's a local declaration, and then there's an executive order from the
yes,
state.
the 418.108.
So the local declaration that we're considering today, I can issue one for up to 7 days unilaterally. After that, I need extension. I need consent from the governing body, which in this case is the Commissioner's Court, to extend it beyond that. The proposed order that we're looking at or considering, I think, has a 30-day time limit on it for reconsideration in 30 days. So it's not like an indefinite, one of these indefinite things. I mean, that was a lesson I think we all learned from pandemic, was these sort of indefinite disaster declarations are not really in the spirit, I think, of that law. So so hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and I also want to provide a little info on that. There's 2 executive directive orders, or executive order his, as well as what the TAHC has put out. For the zone, the infest zone, that came out with an executive director order from the Texas Animal Health Commission and the state. That is in effect until they say. So we've been trying to get estimations, how much longer, and we're hoping that they'll let us know. But they kind of tend to say indefinite because they've got, ongoing operations, inspections and stuff, and it really depends on if we find another case or if something goes on there. So that's the state order. I do want to just mention with our declaration, one reason that we're a big fan of making sure that we have this disaster declaration is, 1, it allows us to provide county resources in terms of staffing, agencies and stuff in a disaster scenario so that we can take care of residents with certain things. It could be assigning personnel to assist the state at the command posts or doing livestock inspections or anything. It's whatever we kind of feel like we need to do to make sure that our residents are served during this issue. The other concern that we also have, like I kind of mentioned, was economic disruption. So usually with disasters, we have to have a disaster declaration first before the state will do one, and then hopefully at the federal level, we'll get a federal disaster. Once all 3 of those are met, we typically will open up to different federal recovery packages, either through the USDA or through FEMA. And so we're trying to set the stage early so that if this ends up being long-term or we start to see significant agriculture economic impacts, we might be able to get some of that USDA recovery money or FEMA money if it is available. And I will say, I've been trying to kind of keep eyes on both the USDA relief funds as well as if this would even play in the FEMA realm. And there's a lot of uncertainty, but we're hoping that if there's any kind of relief for any folks in Gillespie County, we're going to be able to kind of capture that and get you guys the information if you guys have losses with animals. So.
USDA has started doing the release of sterile flies.
Yes, so we received word that they did their first drop, I believe, Wednesday 2 weeks ago. They are somewhat limited in sterile fly amounts, and so they're really trying to target where they get new cases. But if you take a look at the USDA website, you can go down and see the Mexico map with all the cases. They've got the area kind of outlined where they've been doing sterile fly drops. And you'll see that they've been doing it all the way from the border, which they've been doing for months, but all the way up Central Texas, west of us, and then all the way over us. That's a good question.
Yeah, the bait is not, so the bait that they dropped a little bit back in the 70s is not legal. The insecticide is outlawed, and so they hadn't done the research to bring it back in. Also, a lot of non-targets are killed with the bait, and so that's a big deal with EPA now. We can't kill non-targets, and so, and since they dropped the sterile flies, they don't want to kill them.
Yeah.
So the bait's done ahead of time for a week, and then they wait a week, and then they drop sterile flies. That was one method, but, so no, probably won't see the bait anytime soon.
Okay, so Brad, being a livestock
Yes.
producer, what is gonna be the best way for me, just practically, I mean, fly spray, but it really doesn't, I would think, do a whole lot.
No, so one's just visually looking at those animals. Typically, it's not, an adult animal is probably not gonna have a severe problem unless they have an open wound. So we do wanna keep flies and ticks under wraps, but one thing is checking newborns. That's where navels and things like that. So changing some management practices, getting your animals feed broke where you can easily see them every day or every other day is gonna be. We hope to have a meeting similar to this in Harper. We had planned next Monday, but the auction barn is trying to get some stuff changed through Texas Animal Health Commission, so probably the Monday after the 4th tentatively, we're gonna hopefully have a more producer-related seminar that'll talk a lot about that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
As you and I know, I've talked about moving horses. So are those new zone, or the new infections around the counties around here?
Yes.
Oh, which ones?
So the most recent one would have been up in Terrell County, which actually is down south on the border.
Okay, so that doesn't impact me.
No. But what I would say too is the Texas Animal Health Commission website has a really good listing of every single EDO, executive director order that they put out, all the counties impacted, and then that map that I sent you, well, I sent you the screenshot, but I can send you the link, and you can see all of the different infest zones. So you should be good.
Yes, it should be good.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Mr. Knightsky, you had signed up to make a comment. Was that your comment? Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the Commissioners Court before we move on to considering the extension of the disaster declaration?
I have no questions, but I just want to reiterate the importance of reporting. There's a lot of misinformation around reporting. We won't conquer this if we don't report it, so please be diligent on that front.
Place to call or look up online or whatever to find the most information, so that you're not going place to place to place. Would be like for reporting, for example, or for getting a permit.
Sure. So the Texas Division of Emergency Management just set up a screwworm hub that has all the different USDA and all the resources from all the federal and state agencies. And so if you go to Governor Abbott's website, he has actually done a press release that links to it. You can also just search TDEM screwworm, and it'll come up. And it's got everything from all of Abbott's statements for just state response stuff to all the Texas Animal Health links and things like that. So that would probably be the best one.
Phone numbers that I did not memorize.
If you find one phone number and call it, they will get you where you need to go.
Yeah, and I would always encourage too, like, you know, maybe you're not going to move animals today, but you need to next week and you didn't know. You can always send me an email at my either county or city, or you can give me a call on that 24/7 cell of mine. I will answer and get you the information. So.
right, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
So as was discussed before, there's currently a local disaster declaration in place. And Ashley had explained the primary rationale for why that's in place. There is a little bit of language in this proposed, in the current order and in the proposed extension that discusses ingress and egress of persons to a disaster area or movement of warm-blooded animals. There's no restrictions on those movements in this, currently in the order and in the proposed extension. That's merely mentioned in case we run into a scenario in the future where we need to take some immediate local action, or we can do so if we can act faster than the Texas Animal Health Commission could do so. So the extension of the order does not place any additional movement restrictions beyond what's in place from the TAHC. The proposed order, and of course this is up to the Commissioner's Court discretion, but I was proposing an extension until July 23rd, 2026, at which time we could revisit and see what the circumstances are at that time, and maybe we can take appropriate action then. I don't know if there's any discussion or comments from the Commissioner's Court.
No, sir.
Well, since I already have a declaration in place and it's up to y'all to consent to that, I don't want to make a motion to initiate that if one of y'all want to do so.
I move we approve the order of Commissioners Court extending declaration of the local disaster for an additional 30 days as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Who had the second? Commissioner Holfers? Okay. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, anything else on item number 4? Ashley, Brad? Okay. All right, we're going to move back to item number 3 now, which is receive and discuss a report on achievements, on outstanding achievements from the Gillespie County 4-H Youth Stock Show season. We have a lot of visitors today. Ms. Grant, I don't know, how do you want to orchestrate this? Okay.
I think we have a plan. All right, y'all can unroll your
Please watch
banner
your
over
step. We
there.
got cords running everywhere here, so.
Yep, hey, Sydney, right over here. Yep, and you're gonna face the commissioners. Yep, come on, Jack. A whole line. Yep, there you go. You got this? Okay,
Well, to make sure the camera can see you too, so.
yeah.
Yeah, we got the one up here.
All right, well, thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for having us today. Gillespie 4-H is really busy January through March with our county stock show and then on to majors. And so our kids are running multiple directions, and y'all's support is always so much appreciated. So today we wanted to bring them. They're going to highlight a few of their accomplishments as well as tell you a little bit about the livestock projects they're involved in. So we'll let you kick it off.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Come get this, so y'all can pass it down so we can hear it, please.
Up to your mouth.
Yes, I know. Okay.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Sydney Geiswhite, and I judge livestock. We do all the Texas majors, so starting with State Fair, and then we go to San Angelo, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. And then after that, my team participates at the District 10 contest, where we placed third, so we qualified for state. And then also this year, we placed third at state, qualifying for nationals. And through livestock judging, I've learned the importance of hard work, dedication, and pushing through the hard times. So I was really grateful to be in this program, and I enjoyed it all throughout high school.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge Jones. My name is Jackson Crane. I am one of the leaders for the Gillespie County Robotics team. This year, we placed third in Austin, which is really good for our first year. And this year, I learned leadership and managing people to work towards a long-term goal. Thank you.
And I want to comment on that just a little bit. This was our first year for our kiddos to go to all the major stock shows with robotics, and so we kind of launched a revived robotics program, and we had over 20 youth at all the major stock shows for the robotics contest with 5 teams. So a huge jump in participation in our robotics program outside of
show sheep, goats, and breeding sheep. And I just want to say that our livestock program and projects are wonderful, and that we have to be thankful for Emily, Brad Rader, and Patrick Pageant, because we couldn't do it without them. And that's one reason we're so competitive, and thankful for them.
Good morning. My name is Taylor Todge, and I show breeding pigs, market, sheep, and goats. And I just wanted to talk about the importance or the meaningfulness to me of showing livestock that I've raised. It's extremely special to be able to go in the ring and present animals that you've raised, and just knowing that the impact that it could have on your program is extremely important to me, and that has just been an extremely special part of showing to me.
Good morning, my name is Briggs Bowers, and I totally forgot what to say. What I learned this year is that you have to work your animals, and it will all pay off once you get to the stock show.
So this is our Gillespie County dairy judging team, and so they have some exciting news, but they're going to teach you a little bit about dairy judging, commissioners and judge, because we don't have a lot of dairy cows, but we wanted y'all to learn something today as well. We've learned a lot in 4-H, and so we thought it'd be, I think they can teach you a lot.
Last couple of years, most importantly, I've learned that it takes a lot of hard work, and the more you work, the more you will learn. And I think this team really shows that, because we've put in a lot of time and effort, and right here kind of shows that it paid off. So.
Hi, I'm Ben Anderson.
I think the microphone is off. Flip the switch. Are you muted? I think on the. Is there a switch right here? There you go.
Hi, I'm Ben Anderson, and I think the main thing I've learned about dairy judging is just keep it simple, like not overthink it. Just stick to the main things that matter, and I think we've come a long way since we started.
Hi, I'm Dylan Mickle, and I think one thing that I've learned for this being my very first year of dairy judging is to just focus on the things that you've been taught and trust in your gut.
Hi, my name is Avery Denton. My brothers and I show dairy cattle. Every day you have to work hard by washing them, showing them, and walking them every day. And my heifer and I, Slice and Dice, won junior champion in San Antonio this year. We live in Harper, Texas with our farm store, Hill Country Milk.
Hi, I'm Macy Taylor, and to me, dairy judging isn't very common in this county, and so it's really special that we get to do this. And we don't have a lot of opportunities to practice other than what Mr. Denton has on his farm. And so when we go to shows, I think it's very important to be persuasive, because the judges have their own opinions, and you might see something that they don't. And so when you're giving reasons, it's really important to be persuasive and show them that you know what you're talking about.
Well.
We want to thank all the kiddos for coming today. This is about probably 5%, maybe even less than that, of our total 4-H'ers. And so we just could only bring the highlights. Of course, we already filled the room, so thank them for coming. And definitely want to thank Commissioners Court, Extension. Texas A&M AgriLife is funded heavily by the county here along with the state. And so we couldn't do it without that. 4-H is a portion of what we do at AgriLife. And this is only a portion of what we do in 4-H. We also have many different contests, from home ec to range and plan ID, public speaking. As you can see, all these kids did a great job. And so without the commissioner's support and the county support, we couldn't do this. Also want to thank our ag teachers in both Kent towns, from Harper and Fredericksburg, too many to list, but they work extensively with us to help get this done for the youth, which is not common in other counties. Other counties, they fight like cats and dogs, and so we are very blessed here. And we want to say that also the community here, not only the commissioners, but the community as a whole, from our stock shows to all of our events, Wild Game Dinner, are huge supporters. And so obviously this is a whole community process here, and want to thank everybody.
So Brad, I mean, I have to ask a question. You said they're going to give us some exciting news.
Oh.
I didn't hear it. Oh.
This year we got second at the state level, and we're going to Louisville to judge and represent Texas.
Questions for any of the kiddos? Make them talk some more.
I got a question for Ms. Denton. Was it
Here you go.
Rice and Dice?
Yes, sir.
Did you pick out that name by yourself?
No, sir, my brother did.
No, just hats off to all these young folks that participate and succeed, and it makes us feel good knowing that the program is succeeding and doing well. So thank you all, and thank you all, Brad and Emily, for all y'all do. And I know it's a bunch of tireless days that y'all participate.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the support. Like Brad said, we couldn't do it without everybody. So, we didn't even pay the kids to say what he said. So, so touched. So thank y'all so much for everything. And it's just a joy to work with all of our community youth. So.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, hey kids, wait. Hey, we're gonna, y'all stay right there. Gary Cousins, please stay right there. Hey, go, ready, small hand. Sorry. One picture. Where'd he go? Oh, there you are. Okay, and then dairy judging team, hey Avery, why don't you go back there with the other kids? And dairy judging team, y'all just kind of angle right here next to Commissioner. There you go, so we can see the banner. No, stop. Keep coming this way. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Let's just go. I got it.
Okay, on item number 3, there'll be no action. That was for discussion and presentation. Okay, we're going to move to item number 8, which is receive and discuss a annual report from the Good Samaritan Center. Mr. Willemy?
You were going to call me next and have to follow that. The pressure's on.
The pressure's totally on.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was terrific. I have 3 of these. These are my last 3. Y'all share them. And all right. Well, thank y'all for having me today, and for your support of our community through our work, because Gillespie County continues to have a high uninsured rate. There continue to be a lot of people for us to help, but we have a lot of people that help us help them. So last year when I was here, I told you we had some plans for a few things. One of the things we were planning to do was hire a full-time therapist, a bilingual therapist, to be in-house and see patients, and we were able to do that last July. So we now have a bilingual LPC with us 4 days a week seeing counseling patients. And what makes that great is when we have somebody off-site or we're referring people to, even if we're making the appointments available for free, it's hard to convince a patient to take that step to get counseling. But if I'm able to, if the nurses are able to sit with the patient and say, hey, it seems like you're struggling, before you leave today, I want you to meet Ed. And then they walk them down and they build a rapport with Ed. We've had so many more patients doing that. So anyway, we're very grateful to have that. Then the big thing I told you about was we were expanding our building, and we were in the middle of a $5 million capital campaign. I'm pleased to report we were able to reach our $5 million goal. We've broken ground, and they finished the framing 2 weeks ago, and they're working on the roofing now on our expansion. And so with that expansion, at the bottom of the yellow sheet I gave you, you can see we'll be going from 3 to 5 medical exam rooms, 2 to 4 dental chairs. We'll have extra space for our therapists, for social workers, for community health workers. And then we'll also have future exam rooms that we can grow into. We've built this expansion to last us up to 20 years. And then we're also going to have a meeting space that'll hold up to 75 people. So we're adding 5,200 square feet to our building, and we're excited that the progress is happening. One of the big things was to move ahead with dental hygiene. Dental hygiene is one of those things where what comes in the door when people are in pain, we're handling really well. We can do extractions, we can do fillings, but we did not have the capacity to give. We had capacity to give half of our patients 1 cleaning a year, and our goal is to give all the patients 2 cleanings a year. And so to that end, we were able to get funding, and so we've been looking for a hygienist all year, and we were just able to hire one who will start in September, but we're going to have a hygienist 4 days a week doing cleaning, so we will have the capacity. Now the trick will be to convince our patients to come in for those cleanings, and that'll be part of her job, because a lot of our patients just haven't had that background. So basically, we're still our community's access to a complicated healthcare system for a large uninsured population. Last week, we had 2 different people with broken bones who had already seen Dr. Adine but needed help through us to access the other medical resources in town, and so we were able to do their paperwork immediately, do the referral over, so Dr. Adine's office would know to work with them at our discount rate and everything. And so we are still that primary medical, that primary dental, and then we have all these things happening for our growth, and we could not do it without the support from the court, from the community, and we're just proud to be part of this. And that's my update for y'all.
So I know you mentioned adding dental hygiene capacity. When this expansion is done, are you going to have potential for more staff at that point?
Yeah, so one of the tricks is going to be, right now we have the 2 dental chairs. So we have a dentist working the one, and then sometimes they'll work both chairs to increase capacity a little bit. And then we have 2 dental hygienists who volunteer, one of them 2 afternoons a month, the other one afternoon a month. So 3 afternoons a month total. And with this hiring the hygienist in September, that's going to take up one of those 2 chairs. And so we're probably going to have to work around those volunteer hygienists coming in for a few months until our new space is ready, and then we'll have the 4 chairs. So we'll be able to have the hired hygienist, we'll have room down the road to hire another hygienist, we'll have the dentist, and so it's going to give us all the expansion. So we should have, with 4 chairs, all the capacity we need to serve everybody in the community. And one of the things with the dental program that people forget is that Medicare doesn't cover dental. So while we have 2.5 times the state average in over 65, we're at like 33%, over 65 where the state average is about 12.5%. So we have a lot of people over 65 who are on Medicare in our community but don't have dental coverage, and also are living on just their Social Security. So whereas we have fewer than 10 patients on the medical side over 65, 15% of our dental patients are over 65. And so this will be something that can help them as well. Any other questions? On the right side, you can see we have a lot of partnerships, and so I just listed a bunch of the partnerships we have. We could not do this. We don't do this in isolation. We do this as part of a community, and you can see all these agencies that we work with to help.
No, we appreciate it. You do a great thing for the community.
Thank you.
I don't know where we'd be without you. That's great.
Well, and it was 34 years ago this month, that Sarah Allerkamp started the 1 night a week free clinic. And I think of what would have happened if she hadn't done that 34 years ago. Because what we are now started with that one act of faithfulness. All right, well, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Okay. For the record, item number 8 was discussion only, no action. Do we have anyone here to talk about the Hill Country SART? Okay. Let's go to item number 10, which is consider approval of the chamber using portions of the county courthouse square for bleachers and potential road closures related to the Christmas parade, Light the Night Christmas parade.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so essentially asking for the same thing as the previous years. The only change that we're going to be doing is we're hoping to add 6 feet to the bank of bleachers that we put on the west side of the entrance. There's some extra space over there, and that would add an additional 52 seats that we could provide in the bleachers. So other than that, it would be the same as what we did last year. Bleachers would be set up Thursday morning before the parade at 9 a.m. and removed Saturday, December 5th at 9 a.m. And then our staff will come in after the bleacher crew leaves and clean up the grounds like we did last year. The other ask would be the parking closures, same plan as last year. So we'd close the parking on Main Street in front of the library starting on Wednesday so that the bleacher crew can come in and set up on Thursday. San Antonio and Crockett Street parking closures at 7 a.m. on Friday, and then the Nimitz Parkway to close at 2 o'clock on Friday, and all the vehicles to be removed for staging for the parade at that time. And I'll provide a map as I did last year in advance, so that can be shared with county staff on the parking closures prior to the parade. Happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
The additional 6 feet, have we determined that there's nothing in the way of that?
I did go out there and measure it, and there's
Okay.
nothing that it would overlap on there. So it's going from 42 feet wide to 48, and that fits in that space on the west side of the entrance. And the one on the other side will be 30 feet because that's a smaller space there. And I know at 1 year, a couple years ago, there was some overlap, but we modified that last year and made the one side bigger, one side smaller, so that there's no overlap over the landscaping there.
Thank you.
Concerning the road closures, we only really have authority for the roads that are
Sure.
right here behind the courthouse.
Sure.
Not even San Antonio and the other streets are under the city.
Sure.
So I don't have any concern with that. I'm
Right.
just letting you know that we can't give you the authority.
Yes,
for
we
that,
will
so.
work with the city on all of that, just as a courtesy, wanted y'all to know, because with your
Right.
staffing and stuff like that, so.
I move we approve the request from the Chamber of Commerce to place bleacher setting on portions of the courthouse square for the annual Light the Night Christmas Parade, and consider approval of possible street parking lot closures for the parade staging area, and take appropriate actions related to same.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
We do have some visitors here for item 28.
Okay, we can go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to move to item number 28. Let's consider approval of the distribution of hot funds for the, to the Friends of the LBJ National Historical Park.
Terry, do you want to come up and just reiterate your application?
We do have 2 public comments on this item.
Okay. You want to have those first, or?
It's up to you. Do you want them to give the presentation?
Yeah, I would say we can have them go first, and then Terry can present his stuff, so. We're going to have some public comment first.
All right, Mr. Nysky?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm Bruce Knightsky, a citizen of Gillespie County. In the packet, which by the way was added late, possibly outside of decorum, at the very back there's no application submitted or shown. There's no application or any kind of application shown in the packet that you've submitted.
All right, thank you. Mr. Schneider?
Good morning. My name is Tom Schneider. I am a citizen of Gillespie County, and I have a couple of questions. The annual applications are due in the first quarter of the year and are reviewed at the end of March. This year, on April 1st, we awarded, my understanding is $200,000 for the various applications that were approved. And my question is, why was an exception made for this particular application to be taken out of order and taken after the application?
On your question on funding sources, are you asking like other non-local or non-county sources, or are you asking if there's other county funding sources that could be used instead of the HOT? I'm just trying to clarify what you're asking in that part of your question.
Well, one part of the question is, are there any other funding sources available to the LBJ library? And the bigger question is, why was this particular application taken out of order and 4 months after the application deadline had closed?
So if you're asking about other fundings, I believe you'd have to ask the library if they have other fundings, or the LBJ, Friends of the LBJ.
Maybe they could address that one.
Yeah, absolutely. With respect to the funding, we do have a process that we put in place to try to organize our funding efforts, and we put deadlines around that. But the Commissioners Court has the discretion to award hot funds at any time during the year. The LBJ, Friends of the Library, were confused when they made their initial application in terms of was that what they were requesting, and so they came to us, and we consider this to be an important opportunity for use of hot funds, and so that's why we're considering it.
Okay, there are very specific uses for hot funds: promoting tourism, supporting convention business, and helping the hotel industry, and it's helping to serve the hotel industry. So I assume that can be addressed as well in this gentleman's comments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, that's all.
Okay. Terry?
You already went.
Well, and thank you for the questions. Definitely want to address those. Let me just give an overview. The work at the park is very extensive. The major work is to do a complete historical restoration of the Texas White House, the family home at the ranch. And that is costing about $16 million. There's an additional $1.8 million that's needed in order to renovate and modernize the visitor center and the exhibits at the park. The federal government has already funded the $16 million renovation of the Texas White House, and that work is underway. We expect the house to be completed sometime in early next year, 2027. The work for the visitor center is lagging a bit behind by plan, and that will not be completed until 2028. So we began a campaign to raise $1.8 million To your question about other funding sources, there are many prospective funding sources. We've already raised about $400,000. Those come from a variety of different sources, some individual donors, as well as some foundations that have provided funding to us. And we have a campaign in order to raise the balance. For example, next month, we'll be submitting an application to the Texas Historical Commission for about $100,000 for a grant from the Texas Historical Commission. And there are other foundations and commissions like that that we are approaching and filing applications to. In addition, we will soon begin a more public campaign to raise funds from the community, in the broad community, because the national park brings tourism into the entire region. So that's an overview. Happy to answer any more questions that you have.
Thank you. Just for the record, the application is for a $50,000 HUD Fund award for the use of the preservation of the White House, the Texas White House, and/or the, I guess, preservation, and also for the decoration and the interior. Is that correct?
Yeah, so specifically, new exhibits within the visitor center, the modernization of the visitor center itself. It's an old building, so it needed new fits and finishes, new plumbing, et cetera. So that's all being handled under the project. And then new exhibits within the Texas White House. The park was opened in 1970. The exhibits that were there originally have never been updated, so they're, 50 years old, almost over 50 years old. So it's time to modernize that. Let me add one more point. This park has averaged bringing 200,000 visitors per year to the area. And in some years, it's been much more than that. In many years, it's been much more than that. The attendance has decreased because the Texas White House had to be closed about 4 years ago due to structural issues, and hence the need for the restoration. So we believe that with the reopening and the new energy and the new home and the new visitor center, that we're going to see visitation go above the 200,000 average that we have seen recently.
So the HUD Fund budget that we had for fiscal year 2026 was $1.5 million. We currently have $178,000 available within that budget, and our current fund balance is just over $2.6 million in the HUD funds. So we have funds available to fund this request.
Do you have a timeline for the project that you're sort of estimating, I guess, when this would be done? Completely?
Yeah, well, again, based on our ability to raise all the funds that are needed, we expect the visitors, the home will be completed, as mentioned, in 2027, early 2027, and will be reopened to the public at that point. Visitor center is by plan lagging behind, and our target is to be able to reopen the visitor center in 2028, probably mid-2028.
Okay.
Is the award out of the hot funds contingent upon LBJ Ranch being able to fund or to raise sufficient funds to complete the improvement, inclusive of this award?
I guess, would you proceed with this portion of the project if the rest was not funded?
Well, I mean, obviously, we are committed to raising the funds that are needed. And if it takes a bit longer, then we'll take a bit longer. We will use the funds as they are generated in order to do the work that, on the schedule that we've established. So it's important to note that we have told the court and the judge that this $50,000 will be used very specifically for a new visitor desk, a custom-designed visitor desk at the park. And it is hoped that with this funding, when the Texas White House opens, we'll be able to place the new visitor desk in the visitor center as soon as it reopens, and therefore have, that element in order to welcome guests from, around the world, quite honestly, into the park. So the money that we get from this grant, should it be granted, will be used as quickly as possible, and the work will be on display there at the ranch as it's implemented.
Mr. Schneider, I can tell you that when we do the distribution of the funds, we essentially limit it to that specific use or that purpose that we grant it for, and if it's not used for that, they're obligated to return the funds to us. So it's not like we're intending just to give them a sort of blank check, if you will, for this amount of money and let them use it for whatever they want. It's got to be tied to their specific request for the project. Anything else from the commissioners, or anything else you want to present?
You have the proposal. I think it's quite detailed. We took great care to do a good job and a fair job of estimating the impact of visitation. And I'm convinced that we get so many questions about when is the park going to reopen, when is the Texas White House going to reopen, why are things closed? Visitation has continued to be relatively strong during this whole period, and I am absolutely certain that when the Texas White House is reopened, we're going to see a significant boost in visitorship, which will benefit the entire region. So, this is really an investment in our future.
So I believe this is one of the exact purposes that HUD funds was passed in terms of collection in our county. And I move we approve the application for the HUD funds request from the Friends of the Lyndon B. Johnson National Historic Park in the amount of $50,000.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Did you get the second? Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate it. And thank you, community.
All right. One of our presenters is in a time crunch, so we're going to move to item number 26, which is consider approval of a resolution related to the planning grant and the restoration grant for the county courthouse. A little background on this. So we approved application in March, which was for planning initially in the first round. I received correspondence from the state asking if we would be interested in including our full restoration project in the current grant round, I guess is the way you want to call that. If we intend or want to do that, we need to approve a resolution, basically signifying that. So, morning, Whitney.
Morning, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. As the Judge has mentioned, we have approached and already received a resolution to have the support of the county and the Commissioners Court for planning a planning grant with the Texas Historical Commission to restore both the 1939 Gillespie County Courthouse, in which we are standing, as well as the 1882 Gillespie County Courthouse, which is currently the Pioneer Memorial Library. And as the judge mentioned, we have an opportunity that we've been approached by the Texas Historical Commission to request full funding for not only the planning grant, but also to be able to request essentially all of the funding to do the full restoration of the 1939 Gillespie County Courthouse and make our request at the same time as we are requesting the planning grant. And so we are presenting this resolution today to be able to make that request to the Texas Historical Commission at the same time we're making our planning grant request. So I provided the court with the resolution that we would like for their consideration this morning. And I am happy to read that, or if Judge, if you'd like to, as part of the motion, we can do that in either way.
Okay.
Do you like me to read that?
Well, give me just a second. Hold on, sorry.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you read it.
I drafted a proposed resolution, so I was just comparing the two.
Oh, okay. I didn't get a copy of yours. If you have a different one, you can use that one.
I want to clarify that this is not the award of the monies. This
Correct.
is just our participation in the grant application for the additional purpose of possibly having the entire restoration project be considered. I think one of the rationales from the state is that this funding is currently in place, but it's not guaranteed, and so a future round of funding could go away or be reduced, and so while the money's potentially available, that's the purpose for applying for more than just the planning grant in this cycle. The resolution authorizes the submission of an application to THC for both the planning grant, which has already been considered. That's for the 1939 courthouse and the 1882 courthouse, which is the library building. And additionally, a full restoration grant application for the 1939 courthouse, which is the building that we're in today. I drafted a resolution that's somewhat similar. I think I can incorporate the language that you presented in your paragraph number 1 into our resolution, if y'all are okay with that, which specifies that it's the planning grant for both buildings as well as a full restoration grant application for the current building, or the current courthouse. Y'all have any questions from the Commissioners Court?
None.
Do you have any preference if we use the resolution that was drafted by the county or the resolution that was proposed by?
I thought I heard you say that you have, you would make edits, including some of her language. And so I would prefer to have a resolution drafted by yourself with those edits as appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest change that I would recommend is that we be clear that we are requesting the planning grant to include both buildings and the full restoration grant to only include this building, which is what we have discussed. That's part of the, I want to make sure that that language is clear in the resolution.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution that was drafted by the county with the following revision, that the paragraph that authorizes the expansion of the grant application include a specific reference to the planning grant for both buildings as well as the full restoration grant for the 1939 courthouse.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. What's the submission for this? Do you recall?
29th.
Okay, all right. We'll get it signed and we'll get a copy over to your office.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to back up to item number 25, which is consider and discuss recommendations from the GCAD related to retaining a joint delinquent tax collections law firm for all the taxing entities and take appropriate action related to same. Mr. Fair, you want to present on this, or I guess can you just give us a brief synopsis or background? And I think your letter's in the packet, but just if you want to give us a little more information.
Okay. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court. I had submitted a letter, and this goes back to several months back. Early this year, the delinquent tax attorney for all of the taxing units, I had a meeting with her, and she wished to transition out of that. So we went to, Crystal Shesso and I went to my board of directors and had a discussion with them. The directive from my board of directors was to go out and vet firms, come back with my recommendation. I set up a meeting. Crystal Shesso and I set up a meeting with the tax representatives from all of the taxing units that we collect for. And the directive from them was very similar. The comment basically was the appraisal district is the one who has to work with the delinquent tax attorney. The appraisal district should be the one to vet. The appraisal district should come back with a recommendation. So I had asked anybody that wanted to be involved in the process, but that was basically my directive, was to vet. I had three delinquent tax firms that reached out to me before I even sent proposals. So they were basically the three I was going to send to anyway. I received 2 proposals from the 3 firms by the deadline. My staff and we reviewed the proposals. We set up meetings with the 2 firms that submitted the proposals. Between receiving the proposals and having the in-person meetings, I reached out to multiple appraisal districts and county assessor collectors, spoke with them on who they had and what are the positives, what are the negatives. We had the in-person meetings. I then went back to multiple of those people I'd called and asked about the process, not the firm, but the process of working with the firm. So through this process, I went through all of this, and I came back with my recommendation of the firm of Linebarger is the one that the district would prefer to work with.
So all the taxing entities are going to have to essentially consent to this? And are we the first one to discuss this issue, I guess?
From what I'm hearing from various people, we are the only assessor collector across the state that has a system set up this way where everybody gets a vote. Typically, the assessor collector is the one who determines the delinquent tax attorney. That's the way this contract was set up with the taxing units. So yes, there are 8 taxing units. In the appraisal district, there's 9 votes.
What was their matrix for determining your decision between the two? Because I'm just kind of curious about that, because we have a business relationship with one of the clients that's been very reputable. So that's why I'm kind of wondering.
There was different things. One was transition. In one of them, the transition, Crystal Shesso, I don't know what the exact arrangement would be, but she would be working with or for one of the firms for a year. That is one of the things in transition, and that is with Purdue. Linebarger didn't have that working relationship. They did state during the process that they would want to reach out and work with Crystal in the transition. I looked at it long-term. Yes, that is a short-term 1 year, but I'm looking at it long-term. The benefits of the 2 firms, there's a little bit of financial incentive with Linebarger in that Linebarger would be the delinquent tax firm. Essentially, my office or parts of my office, there's 3 different law firms. There's the delinquent tax firm, there's the firm that represents the appraisal district, and then there's a firm that, because of the way the legislature set it up, we pay for the 3rd lawyer to represent the ARB, Appraisal Review Board. So Linebarger has an agreement with my law firm that they would pay for non-litigation legal fees that I incurred with my law firm. Linebarger would pay for them. So that's a financial incentive, not only for the appraisal district, but the appraisal district is funded by all of the taxing units, so it's a financial incentive for all. That, looking at the last 3 years, where it's been rising, but looking at an average of the last 3 years, it's about $4,500 a year and rising for that incentive. Both firms, all three firms, the one including the one that did not submit a proposal, they're all capable of collecting taxes. They've all been in it for multiple decades. Based on my conversations with other appraisal districts and taxing units, and based on our interactions with them in person, we prefer Linebarger.
And y'all's vote, was it unanimous?
My appraisal district, the board of directors, no, sir, it was not.
I mean, I have to look, Ms. Shessel's in the room. I mean, I'm not a legal person. I don't know. Your thoughts, could you speak, please? I know you're not signed up, but could you? I mean, you've done it for years. You know the area. And I've also spoke with the school, and he spoke with me actually about this. I'm really concerned or confused.
Judge, commissioners, good morning. I am Crystal Shesso, and I have my office is the law office is O'Brien Shesso, and we have represented the local taxing entities for the past 42 years. And during that time, I have had the opportunity for over 20 years to work with the Purdue firm. And that was one of the firms that submitted the application and did not receive the recommendation of Mr. Fair. The Purdue firm is familiar with our community and already represents the Fredericksburg Municipal Courts in collection of fines, as well as all of the Gillespie County JPs in the collection of fines. They were listed as references in the Purdue proposal. In addition, Dr. Bowers, who is the new superintendent for the Fredericksburg Independent School District, has worked closely with the Purdue firm in his previous district, the Kennedy ISD. He appeared at the meeting with Mr. Fair and expressed his opinion as to their expertise, and that was the only conversation. He had never been contacted by Mr. Fair, even though he was listed as a reference. In addition, Mr. Fair never contacted, to my knowledge, any of the City of Fredericksburg or Gillespie County representatives in his vetting process. And given the significance of the decision, it's difficult for me to understand how to make a complete assessment without consulting the local clients, who are the three largest taxing entities that make up the Gillespie Central Appraisal District. Mr. Fair mentioned this morning seemed to be the primary financial distinction between the proposals. And at the meeting before the board, when Mr. Fair was giving his recommendation, the Purdue partners that were present indicated that they would match that offer. And so it appeared at that point that the primary financial distinction between the proposals was eliminated. I'm speaking, for myself. I've as I said, worked with the firm for over 20 years, have witnessed their expertise, their representation. They are not a flashy city law firm. I've watched Mr. Garcia speak with taxpayers at hearings, before hearings, and appears to be a very reasonable person in reaching out to them. The attorneys that would be assigned by that firm to Gillespie County would be Mr. Garcia, as well as the attorney that represented Kennedy ISD, because he already has the working relationship with Dr. Bowers. Anyway, I would just ask the Commissioners Court to deny the recommendation and Mr. Fair and approve as the delinquent tax attorneys the Purdue Brandon firm. One other issue I just want to raise is that we did attend that meeting. As I said, Dr. Bowers, it was myself and some representatives of the firm. Mr. Fair indicated that there were some things to talk about in the executive session. We waited for that throughout that whole meeting. We stepped outside anticipating there would be that executive session. And it did come later in the meeting, apparently was the end. The door was closed, and when it opened again, the members of the board filed out. We never heard a motion, we never heard discussion or anything. But anyway, that would be my recommendation, and I've pledged with the firm that I would work with them. I think a transition's important, and that would be at no cost to the local entities. And that would be a financial arrangement we would just have to make to see what would be entailed. Thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Fair, so let's kind of set aside this $4,500 issue and just talk about I mean, these firms essentially do the same thing, I think. Is it a difference in style or something that you feel one's better than the other? Or, I mean, I guess based your recommendation on, I guess, how are you distinguishing between the two? If we throw aside that, that financial issue, I mean, do you feel like the style of the firm would be better fit for your office, or what? I'm just
Yes, I
trying to get
do. Yes, we went through this process. I reached out to my cohorts. I reached out to assessor collectors. I reached out to assessor collectors for the counties, they're the collectors, or appraisal districts that are the assessor collector. I reached out, that's the references I used. They weren't on there. I called people around, I called people up in North Texas that have these firms. So I vetted based on people that are in the same position I am. The in-person interviews, the way they came across, the way they answered questions for us, the whole aura of it just felt like that Lineberger would be an easier group to work with, would be fighting just as hard as Purdue would be.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll be happy to answer anything else that was Ms. Chesso commented on.
Yeah, so I have a question of our action item before us. Is us as a taxing entity, are we either approving or disapproving your recommendation, or are we voting on our own with whoever we decide we want to vote on? I'm trying to understand really what the procedure is.
You have a vote for the next delinquent tax attorney firm, whichever it is. So it is a vote for a firm, not a denial of my.
So we could literally vote for a different firm that you don't have listed?
You could, yes, you could vote for somebody that did not submit a proposal.
So just to be clear, it's not either accepting or denying your recommendation, it's a vote for a firm?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you need unanimous consent from all taxing entities?
It's majority.
Okay, all right.
Is there a deadline?
Well,
There is no deadline. Well, in the contract, it says October. But in reaching out in my letter, I asked if it'd be possible 30, 45 days. Everybody has set their meeting, and the last meeting will be at the end of July.
The thing I find difficult is that we're not in the process of interviewing any of these folks. So we're having to go off of recommendations, and then we have to decide and vote on something. And so it's sort of an odd task without being involved in the process.
Well, this is on. Just from a personal observation, we see Brandon and Purdue, and we see Linebarger at all of our commissioner or annual conventions. And this is just my personal opinion. Brandon Purdue, to me, seem like they seem like they'd be a better fit for our community. From a personal observation, I can call any one of those people that I've met from Brandon Purdue. You can talk to them about a stock show or about a fishing trip, or just they're very personal with me. The times I've dealt with Linebarger, and this is not anything against them, but or anybody that wears skinny jeans and city people, they just don't seem like the fit that I would vote for in my personal opinion. And that's just my personal opinion.
If I might comment, Mr. Cromer, I'm in the same boat. I've been in this business 27 plus years. I know all three firms I reached out to. I've seen them at conferences for decades. I have known people at Purdue longer than I've known people at the other places. And it was a difficult decision for me. I knew that I would be telling people no that I've known a long time.
Well,
So-
and the hard part for me is that we do have a relationship with them in the county already with our JP courts. And so, I mean, just the interaction with them, to me, they're very personal with Gillespie County already.
Yes, sir.
Is there a proposed timeline on the contracts as far as like how long they would be retained to represent the entities? I mean, how long of a relationship, I guess, is being proposed with the new firm?
I think that's part of the negotiation once the one is selected.
Okay. Ms. Schneider?
Hearing this as a taxpayer, that someone came to the table at the last minute and lowered their price. That's part of the bid process. You bid, this is what the fee is, and changing it at the last minute is not, I mean, to me, that's just not kosher. You had an opportunity to bid, you gave your price, the decision was made, all of a sudden you want to lower your price. We're being overcharged. That's what it says to me as a taxpayer. Because that bid process is there for a purpose, okay? And what I also see is that, what's the recovery rate of the two firms percentage-wise? What is due? What is the recovery rate? Was that, I'm guessing that was considered.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
I don't have the numbers right in front of me,
Were
there's,
they comparable? Were they different?
in my opinion, yes, they were comparable.
Okay. It was just a question, just to ask.
I mean, we're talking about a professional service, so the way that that's procured is we have to, well, we didn't do it, but in generally, the most qualified firm is selected, and so.
$820 million agency. Very, very well aware of that.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion from Commissioners Court? Excuse me. Anybody want to make a motion?
I mean, when we're talking about the small difference, I mean, Ms. Shesso, which has grand experience on doing these collections, she's going to sign on for a year at no cost. That's quite a benefit in my opinion.
That's not correct. I mean, she's not going to be at no cost. It's going to be no cost to you all because neither firm is any cost to you all. They're 100% paid by the delinquent taxpayers.
I guess I go back to what was the matrix? I mean, what was your recommendation, but how did you get there from here? I have not really heard that, in my opinion. What's set the two apart except for the $4,500? That's
My conversations around the state, getting impressions,
part, okay.
my conversations face to face, my staff, the four of us that were sitting across the table from in that interview session with them, I felt more comfortable with Linebarger.
So if we need to make a motion, would it be a motion to go with the firm?
I think Commissioner Weinhardt
Yes.
addressed that. It'd be which firm would we prefer to go with?
Could be the recommended firm, it could be the other firm, or it could be a third party.
Do you have a recommendation on which firm that you have
For
dealt
me?
with or whatever? I mean,
I don't know that I have enough interaction with either of them in this capacity to have any input on it.
I mean, if I had to make, not a recommendation, if I had to, I would have to go with Brandon Purdue because we've had a business relationship with them in the past, and we have not had any problems, to the best of my knowledge. Have y'all in the auditor's office noticed anything, or?
Is that a motion?
That'd be my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you clarify what the motion is, just for the record?
In reference to the recommendation for the Gillespie Central Appraisal District relating to retaining a delinquent tax collections firm, I would recommend Brandon and Purdue.
Just for the record, I like clarify. my
Clarify your
motion.
second?
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or more discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm abstaining.
I'm going to oppose. So motion carries 3-1 with 1 abstention.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, sir.
I'll give rationale for my opposition. It's not necessarily a decision on the firms. It's just that I wasn't a party to this whole process, and it's hard for me to I don't really want to put my decision-making insert my decision-making for a third party that went through a process to try to make a recommendation. As Commissioner Weinheimer said, we're stuck with the tough task of sort of being a third-party recipient of information and then having to make a decision based on that. Anything else, Commissioners, on that item? I guess we'll see what the rest of the taxing entities do and go from there. All right, what other, you have TAC? Okay. Okay, we will move to item 16, which is consider approval of the annual renewal of the employee health, dental, life, and vision benefits plan through the Texas Association of Counties. This is considering our renewal for the upcoming year.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to propose the renewal of our health insurance, and Ashley from TAC is going to present.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning, everyone. As Lynn said, so we did send out our renewal for your medical, dental, vision, your life, and then we also have your wellness incentive program included in your renewal for this year. Just to give a little background for everyone, each year we come together, people who are way smarter than me, our actuaries, look at what we have expended in the pool for the past year, what we're expected to expend in the upcoming year, and then being able to go through individual allocations for each group based off of their experience, based off of their area. So what is the cost to receive medical care here in Gillespie County, or where your members are receiving care? And then also just the demographics of your membership as well. With coming together with all of that information, we do have a pool needed amount, which is what we consider our zero. That's where everybody is either going to have an increase or decrease above or below what that zero was. This year, we did have to endure navigating the No Surprises Act. And so for those who aren't aware of what the No Surprises Act is, previously people would go to emergency rooms or freestanding emergency rooms thinking that everything was good, you know, as advertised, you have no out-of-pocket expenses. They get home, maybe a month, 45 days later, they get a bill for the care that they received. What the No Surprises Act did was removed that, right? So that's a benefit for us as medical consumers. We're no longer getting those surprise billing in the mail. However, those institutions were not just going to go without those funds. So what has happened is they have come back to the health plans. And so for us specifically at TAC, we have had to pay over $20 million in unexpected claims from the No Surprises Act, from litigation with going back and forth with those freestanding ERs for them to be able to collect their funds. So that was money that we were not expecting. As I mentioned before, our actuaries look to see what is expected to be expended, and then also what we have currently done in the past. And so with that huge expense that we were not expecting, our pool needed amount was definitely higher than what it has been in the past. Still definitely lower than what it is out in the market, but just to kind of give you a perspective, that is what we were managing. That's what we're still managing, trying to figure out how do we address this No Surprises Act in a lawful way as well. So one of the things which you guys are currently going to be doing is providing more education to our members to know where you go for appropriate level of care. That's another thing that we have been seeing over the past couple of years, seeing that members are going to the emergency room for non-emergent reasons. I always say if there's an emergency that is going on, yes, please go to the next place that you can get to receive the care that you need. However, when we're seeing multiple claims for sinus infections for emergency rooms, then we know that we need to take a step back and get back to the member to educate them. So I'm gonna step off that soapbox and kind of get to the renewal that we have in front of you all. So for your upcoming plan year, for your medical plan, the renewal is for the same plan that you have, which includes a $30 office visit copay, $300 deductible, and then 90% co-insurance, also with a $800 out-of-pocket maximum. That is going to be for an 11% increase for medical, and then also for your dental, it's 1.5%, and your vision did remain flat in addition to the life as well. Your life plan, those rates have remained stable as well. So that is what we have in front of you, again, with keeping your plan the way that it is. And to give you guys a little more feedback, with looking at all of our allocations, we do look at a long period of time. So we're not looking at your claims just within the last 12 months. we look at a 36-month time period. And unfortunately, you all have two high-cost claimants right now that are driving that higher cost for your plan. And so, yes, I can sit here and we can look at it as numbers, but at the end of the day, those are people, right? And we want to make sure that we're able to manage and support them as they're navigating this healthcare system and also their conditions that they're managing. And then lastly, at the back of your, or towards the middle of your renewal packet, you do have your wellness incentive program that is included. And so last year, you guys did implement a county-specific incentive that included an annual physical and dental screenings as well. And those members who do participate in those activities are eligible for an incentive that is provided at the end of the year as well. And so all 5 of those items are included in your renewal packet. And I will pause for any questions or comments.
Just so I understand, our increase, is that unique to the county or is that across the board for TAC?
That is individual allocation. So our pool needed amount this year was 9.9%. So there are groups like you all that would receive above that 9.9 based off of your individual claim experience.
Thank you.
Any discussion by the court on wanting to make amendments to any of the current plans or the incentive program that I think we just started that this year.
I think, Lynn, even making amendments to the plan, it didn't really help us much with our premium. I mean, there's...
Alternate plan proposal page?
Yes.
the alternate.
Page
There's-
172.
It shows the different options that we had quoted, and then it shows the deductibles and out-of-pocket rates for those plans. And those would move us to the non-grandfathered status.
The last two, yes. Yeah, so there is one option that would allow you to keep your grandfathered status, and that's what we call a G2 plan. But then you also, like Lynn said, you have 2 options that would move you to a non-grandfathered status, which essentially just means preventive care is covered at 100% for employees or members on the plan.
I just don't see where it's a benefit to even consider another plan.
There's
So
not enough,
minimal.
there's not enough difference, in my opinion, in the premium versus what it will be your deductible, max out of pocket.
I'll move we approve the annual renewal of the employee health, dental, life, and vision benefit plan through Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Benefit.
Second.
That's our current plan.
The current plan, yes.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next year, you're gonna come back and tell us our insurance went down?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. You're not gonna get me got on camera. But we are doing things to try to make sure. That is our ultimate goal, honestly. So you guys are doing the right things. And I'll just do a plug. Annual enrollment is September 12th. Make sure your employees are there. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go back and start going in regular order, numerical order now. So we're going to go to item number 5, which is consider approval of a job description or posting for positions in human resources.
Morning. So I would like to propose an update to the compensation section of the vacant HR director job description in order to help us recruit highly qualified candidates. So I would like to propose that the starting range, which currently reads up to 70,000, to change that to from 70,000, commensurate with qualifications and experience. That maintains our currently approved budget baseline while allowing the county the flexibility to review those top applicants.
Are you okay with that kind of wording? I move we approve the HR job description as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just, we're going to take we're going to hold on just a second. The streaming says that it has an unstable connection. I'm going to try to we can, if y'all want to. We're going to have to take a break at 11 anyway for our executive session. Okay.
Checking on you for lunch. He knows better.
Okay. We're back live. Item number 6, consider approval of promotions, transfers, payroll changes, and/or hiring positions in the county sheriff's office.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning.
I'm standing in for Captain Robinson for approval of 2 new hires for the jail. The first is going to be Thomas Marin, jailer with experience, step 2, starting pay rate of $22.11 an hour, effective 7/1 of '26.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Mr. McDonald. Thomas what? Marin?
Thomas Marin.
M-O-
M-O-R-I-N. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
you bet.
Is he jail experience?
Yes, that is jailer with experience, step 2. And the starting rate is $22.11 an hour. And effective 7/1 of '26.
I move we approve the hiring of Thomas Moran at a rate of $22.11 an hour, effective July 1st of 2026.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second one's going to be David Dudley, jailer with experience, step 2. Starting pay rate is $22.11 an hour, effective 6/23/26. This one has a stipulation, employment is subject to medical clearance with primary care physician. Captain Robinson's waiting on a letter, which is supposed to come in tomorrow from the doctor on that one.
What was the effective date, sir?
That was today, 6/23/26.
23. That's tomorrow. That's today, huh?
Today.
It's effective immediately, contingent upon the receipt of the medical
Yes,
clearance.
that's correct.
That is my motion.
I'll second it. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Item number 7, consider approval of county clerk minutes for Commissioners Court meetings. Ms. Schneider, you want to make a comment on this item?
Good morning. I am asking for an Attorney General's opinion on the agenda items in accordance with the Open Meetings Record, or Open Meetings Act. I believe that not including a lot of the documents that are open for discussion during the Commissioners Court and then supposed to be in our meeting minutes, these are not put in front of the public until, and sometimes never, like the job descriptions, the change in the HR director. All of these things should be available for the public review. The question is, on the agenda, how does it correlate with Robert's rules? What is considered the agenda? Is it just the agenda, or is it all the supplemental documents that should be available for public purview? Those are not happening on a regular basis, including the budget, which we've discussed in the past, and also they're not being posted after they've been approved. In the email that I sent you, Judge Jones, last week and copied Sarah Neal and also Lindsey Brown, I made the comment in there that our meeting minutes have not been posted since March 10th. It is now the 24th of June. How is the public supposed to know what is happening? The consent agendas are never published. All of these items are not in our meeting minutes. They're not in our full agenda packet. And it begs the question, again, as I've stated on numerous occasions, where is the transparency with the operation of this county? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. There's no other public comment on this item. So we're considering approval of county clerk minutes.
I reviewed those and had edits on 3 items that the clerk has made. I move we approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item number 9, consider approval of a resolution to establish a Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team. Okay, Chapter 351 of Local Government Code requires counties to establish an adult sexual assault response team. I was contacted and offered the opportunity for us to create a joint or regional team with Kerr County. Bandera may also be considering joining that as well. That same section does allow counties under 250,000 population that are contiguous to form a regional response team. So that's what's being proposed today, is if the county would like to join with Kerr County to establish that Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team. The statute does provide membership. It essentially names who the members on that team will be. Includes prosecutors, law enforcement. From our county, the two members that we would need to appoint would be the county sheriff and then the chief of police of the largest municipality in the county, which in this case is the city of Fredericksburg. So it would be Chief Orauer and Sheriff Ayala as our appointees. The remaining appointees, like the prosecutor, for example, will be the district attorney for the 216th, which is Lucy Wilkie out of Kerrville. So some of the team will be comprised of Kerr County appointments. Our specific appointments are just for the sheriff and Chief Vorauer. This is similar. There's already another response team for certain types of criminal activity. This is a second one of those. The legislature found that a high number of reported sexual assaults are not prosecuted. A high percentage are not prosecuted, and so this is to address that issue potentially, or hopefully. So I don't know. Sarah, do you have any input on this? I know you're not necessarily, okay. All right, that's good. Okay. Do you have any questions or discussion? I did send an email to the sheriff and police chief letting them know that they would be appointed by statute. It's not discretionary. They can send a designee if they want to do so also.
I move we approve the resolution to establish the Hill Country Regional Sexual Assault Response Team.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is Tony still here? All right, item number 11. We've got about 5 minutes. Can you do it in 5 minutes?
30 seconds.
Okay.
How much time y'all need?
Item number 11 is consider approval of the airport project participation agreement between TxDOT and the county. This is for a pavement project at the county airport.
During a recent audit, the TxDOT realized that we had not signed our APPA agreement, which is our standard document when we sign up for a grant project. It basically says that we have to follow the grant assurances and other stipulations that are written in the agreement that are standard. We're looking for a project of $5,107,660. Our share is at 5% of that. Again, this is pending this signature, then we can proceed with the construction project.
This was approved some time back.
Exactly. They just realized that they hadn't done it and trying to get their paperwork straight.
I move we approve.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Sorry.
My comment goes to the assurances section, C1, the audit requirement in section 2 CFR Part 200, subpart F. It says we must be able to comply with the capability of being audited. That does not exist to date. Are we aware of that? And how is that going to be addressed?
Is that, you're talking about the federal reg, CFR?
Yes, it's in the assurances. I don't remember exactly what page it's on, but it is C1, and it is in Section 2 CFR, Part 200, Subpart F. And it says you must be able to be audited at any point.
So being audited, is that the same thing as producing an annual audit? Because we also will have a single audit obligation that we will do
The language is
annually.
not specified in that clause. But the fact of the matter is, we are not auditable.
I think we can be audited, we just can't produce a single audit that would be,
But you
an annual audit.
signing this agreement at that time, that you are in violation. That's my point. I mean, the point is not to be a jerk about this stuff, but this goes back to the greater issue in our county of the treasurer's office. And there is still an unwillingness to do anything. I mean, I just got my latest FOIA dump from you, Judge Jones, on Friday afternoon, that's 189 pages. These are financials, and by law, our treasurer is required to produce these affidavits. And Commissioner Olfers, just to refresh your memory, you have signed affidavits on the financials in the past, and you have continued to. So, but again, when you look at what our current treasurer has supplied over the last 2.5 years, she's only supplied intermittently payroll affidavits. Everything else is missing. There's no accounting of our investment funds. There's no accounting of the fee accounts. I mean, this is pretty egregious. And again, we are applying for grants all over the place, knowing full well we cannot comply with the audit component. And there is no, and again, let me jump ahead to your RFQ for the outside audit. Why is that not attached? But we can talk about that when we get to that other point. But again, I want to bring up the fact that we knowingly are submitting documentation for grants and everything else that can be rejected and even clawed back. These are our concerns. This is financial disaster for our county, and no one seems to be terribly concerned about it. We lowered the hiring standards for the deputy treasurer. We went from required standards to preferred. And this gentleman is going to be our new treasurer. It's deeply concerning, and there does not seem to be any sense of urgency by this court to really address this and deal with it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion on item number 11, Tony or Court?
I move we approve the airport project participation agreement between TxDOT, Department of Transportation, and Gillespie County for the airport project paving project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Is there one for the auditor to sign too? Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. I can't speak to the CFR reg. I'd have to look at that, but I know that at the state level, the grant assurances, require us to provide an annual audit. There's some language in there about unless it would cause an undue hardship or burden on the entity or something like that. And so, to date, the state agencies at least have been willing to give us extensions on that as we're working towards it. I'd have to look at the federal reg to see. This is through TxDOT, so I don't know if they're incorporating the federal regs or the state level regs. But so I'm acknowledging your concern, and we have been able to continue with the grants to date. But if there's not a change at some point, I expect that they would that they would stop allowing us to do that.
As I have stated in past commission meetings, we are in violation. I shouldn't say we, I'm not. This commission is. This Commissioners Court is in violation of multiple local government codes pertaining to the finances and the reporting and the accounting of our finances. And as I've also stated, it warrants a state audit. And it also, at this point, begs questions on whether or not I truly believe, based on what's happened and the level of trying to hide it from the public, that it needs to be investigated by the Texas Rangers. You have admitted on record yourself, Judge Jones, that we are in violation of those local government codes pertaining to our finances. And again, I go back to, there is an unwillingness to really address this issue by hiring competent people to be in these positions that can actually do the work. And we have, when you go back and you look at these documents on where our cash reserves are and what's available, there's a $20 million drop over 2.5 years. That's a significant amount of money. And how do we know what is really happening with our books? I've had individual conversations with some of you, and again, I don't see that there's a concern, but it impacts, and let me just say this too, it impacts the taxing ability of the city because of so many connections with the county's finances that they can't raise taxes according to SB 1851. I just had this discussion with somebody else at the city. They're deeply concerned. They're more deeply concerned than you all are. And again, Commissioner Cromer, you can't even look at me when I speak.
I'm listening to you.
And the looks on your faces are, none of you have expressed any concern about this. And what is your answer to the people sitting in this room, to our employees? You just talked about their health insurance. What happens when we do have a state audit and things get shut down? What happens when the Rangers come in and confiscate all of our records? What happens? We had a year, you had a year, to prevent Standard & Poor's from lowering our AA+ rating to 0. Nothing happened. I don't know how, the people in this room, you are owed explanations. These are your tax dollars. These are your elected representatives, and they have nothing to tell you. And we have to stand up here in these meetings, and we have offered to help. And again, I was just asked by someone else, would I be willing to sit down with members of our Commissioners Court and work through these issues and using our professional experience to help resolve this? And I said, of course I would. Of course I would. But I've also made those private invitations to have meetings, and those have gone rebuffed. So there is not a willingness to use the talent and resources in this community to help address these issues. That's what we're asking for, and we continue to ask it, and we should not have to stand up here and be the Open Meetings Act police or Robert's Rules police. We shouldn't have to do that. Thank you.
All right, my response to that is Texas Rangers would come in if there was criminal activity. I may be alleging there's criminal activity. I'm not aware of any criminal activity that's taken place. There's duplicate systems in place in the county. That's why the auditor produces different reports than the treasurer. Typically, we would get both, but it's not like we're completely blind in this circumstance.
Offer up the financial meeting to the public that you said, that that you would do. That was over a month ago. I mean, people
I
are
didn't say I would
wanting to
offer a
see-
meeting, I said that I would produce information on status and expenditures and that sort of information.
Okay, and do we have that?
It's not ready for publishing yet, is that what you're asking?
But again, Judge Jones, not to be argumentative, but the public is owed this information. You said you have put it forward. When is the audit and the treasurer departments, when are they going to be able to produce these? And at this point, based on what I know from all of my thousands of pages of FOIA documents, that is not going to happen in the next year. That's not acceptable. And again, we need a serious plan put in place to hire the appropriate people. The treasurer needs to resign. We need to stop paying her salary. We need to close in on her bond to help offset some of these expenses. There's a lot of things that can be done, and you all are unwilling to do that. And we want to know why.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to talk about this more when we get to the other agenda items that are more directly related to this, like the RFQ for the outside auditor. We have an 11 o'clock appointment for our executive session, so if there are anything else, commissioners, before we break for executive session.
I signed up to speak on that topic as well. May we proceed with that?
Y'all want to speak before we go to executive session or
Yes,
after?
please.
I'm okay with that unless y'all want to.
Are they waiting for us? You can see that.
Yeah, I think we'll have to call them. We've got two comments. Ms. Schneider, item number 29.
The first question I have is, and so the audience is aware, this is a grievance proceeding, and the county is requesting that legal fees be funding this, or representing this employee. Has this been done for other employees in the past?
County's not requesting it, we're discussing that potentially.
Again,
I mean, we are going to discuss it.
has this been done for other employees in the past?
Has what been done?
That you have hired outside counsel to represent an employee in a grievance situation?
Not in the time that I've been here. I can't
Commissioner
comment prior
Olfers,
to
you've been here the longest.
Not to my knowledge, but
Okay. Again, it's strange to see this, because the other question is, why is our county attorney not handling this?
I mean, that's an option, that's what we're going to discuss today.
Okay.
I mean, this is a fact-finding discussion for us today in a lot of regards. We have not made a decision already on this.
Well, and again, there's a lot of missing information here. Is this based on a sexual harassment case or claim? Is it based on a discrimination claim? I mean, you're asking the taxpayer to pay for an attorney to represent an employee in a grievance situation. There needs to be more information given to the public.
When the court takes action, it will be public, but we're not going to publish every detail of.
Well, again, Judge Jones.
That's why we're meeting executive session, is to discuss this issue.
And what does the handbook say about these grievances? What does the employee handbook say?
I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to, I'm not trying to disclose the content.
I'm not asking for the persons involved. We're asking for details that why would the county set a precedent of hiring an outside counsel to represent an employee in a grievance?
We're not setting a precedent. There's statutory authority that requires us to provide.
Can you explain that?
Representation. I am right now. There's statutory authority that requires us to provide representation for a county employee that's sued, or that there is a likelihood that the activity may result in criminal charges. It says the district attorney or the county attorney can provide that representation, or if they can't do so, then at that time, the county can consider hiring outside legal counsel in that circumstance.
Okay, and what is the citation for that?
You have that, Sarah?
I wouldn't be
we'll
up
get it
here
for you.
asking the question if you had put it in on the agenda.
What, you want me to put every statute on the agenda? I don't understand.
You have part of it on here. You have the executive session, you've got it in other places.
The executive
So,
session has to be posted per the open meetings.
I
Act.
agree. Can you just perhaps please give me
Yeah,
the citation?
We'll pull it up here.
157.901, and in addition to what Judge Jones had commented on to explain the statute, can't hear you. To explain the statute, in addition to what Judge Jones commented on to explain the statute, it also requires that the reason for the representation is related to work conduct, obviously, right? So it can't just be for a private capacity, but there are specific, this specific statute in particular discusses when and if a county provides legal counsel to an employee. And then there's also case law and attorney general's opinions. But to my knowledge at this time, no outside attorney has been hired regarding this matter.
That's fine. It would have been helpful to put the citation on, and it would have eliminated a lot of questions. Thank you.
Mr. Knightsky? All right, thank you. All right, pursuant to section 551.071 and 551.074, the court is going to recess the open meeting and reconvene an executive session for item number 29, which is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding the retention of outside legal counsel to represent a county employee in a grievance proceeding. And we'll meet in the law library, so y'all can stay in this room if you want to. Sure, yeah. I'm sorry? I don't know if they're ready or not for that, so.
Saving time.
Yes, it's 11:13 a.m. It's 12:08 PM on June 23rd. We are going to reconvene the open meeting of Gillespie County Commissioners Court. The court did meet on item number 29 in executive session. Does anyone want to make any motions related to item number 29?
I move that we take no action on item number 29.
Second.
So a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We still have quite a few items on the agenda. Do you want to break for lunch? Now, and we can start back about 1?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're going to have to push. If we push through lunch, I think we'll be here for a while. Everybody will be starving. All right, anything else? All right, it's 12:09 PM. We will recess until 1 PM for a lunch break, and then we'll come back and address the other items on the agenda. We know, what was the one he put it on? What's the number?
Yeah, probably.